morally unambiguous. I have my morals and I stick to them. So when I received an email from our lovely science officer Situla saying that one of their member of staff have decided that they're going to test stuff out on themselves, that was great. That was great. I can't wait. Can't wait to get on board this ship. I've never been on a Starfleet ship before. I cannot wait. So yeah, fun times.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh boy. Okay, Moon, why don't you go next?
All right. If you are familiar with this channel, you also have never seen me before.
Yeah.
My name is Moonlight, or Moon. I don't really care which. I am playing Lieutenant J.G. Daru, who is the Chief of Security. They are an Orion who is non-binary as well as ace, and basically was like, Orion culture, not so much. I'm gonna become Klingon, basically, was how that went. They were raised by Klingon dads who basically travel around the galaxy adopting anyone who needs adopting. They are very fascinated by culture through the lens of martial arts and combat styles. So they are very well versed in a wide variety of combat styles from all sorts of species. They are 6'10", so they are very tall. Dark green, sort of the emerald color skin with golden eyes, and basically always have their dichtak, the Klingon dagger, somewhere on their person. The captain is maybe not aware of that at the beginning. We'll see how long that lasts.
Daru, what do you have? A knife!
How many knives?
Yeah.
And to be clear, it is the dichtag that their father gave to them when they took the assignment on this ship.
Aww.
And were like leaving home after 6 years of being back at
Aw.
home because of reasons that will come out in the story.
Aw, that's so sweet. Okay, second to last, but second to not least. Let's Lexi.
That's me. That was very masterful, Avery. I'm Lexi, and I'm playing Lieutenant Dave Evans Scott. I'm just a guy. I'm the ship's helmsman and executive officer, so I'm second in command of this Escher Stairs nightmare of code violations. And all Dave wants is for the ship to not crash and to be able to clock off on time from Delta shift just once. So, this ought to be interesting.
I can make one of those things happen.
Oh, I gotta pick though.
Choose
That's
your
gonna be a
poison.
hard one.
And now, last but not least, Kai, our captain.
Hello, I'm Kai. I will be playing Captain Obra Krisian, who is a human. They are, I want to say, probably the shortest member of this little group. And they have Wardenberg syndrome, which means they have complete heterochromia. One of their eyes is bright blue, the other one is brown. And they have a lock of white hair coming out. Just the other important thing about Wardenberg syndrome is that they are deaf. So they rely on adaptive technology, including whatever the Star Trek version of cochlear implants is. And I, the player, will be relying probably quite heavily on Moon for sign language.
Nice.
Very nice.
So how tall is Captain Crucian?
Probably average for a human, but apparently short for this crew.
Short for everything else.
Like
Fair
5'5"-ish.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think
Fair enough.
Kelpians are 7 feet,
Yeah,
at least.
They're up there,
averaging around 7 feet.
yeah.
As the tall person in my current living situation, I just want to not be the person who is asked to reach things on the top shelf.
As the person who is usually the shortest in the living situation, no, you don't.
That's amazing.
Well,
as
To be fair, the thing usually on the shelf that I need to get down is the cat, so.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
important,
alright.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
when
indeed.
Avery and I last lived together, she was the one tasked with getting our cat off of the cupboards.
Yeah, we had a super high cupboards, and he would just launch himself up there, and I had to carry him down.
And then yell because he didn't know how to get down.
Yeah, I would just yell at him. That's all. All right. Oh boy. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think without any further ado, why don't we get started with our first episode of Stars I Shall Find, which I have named this episode because I like naming things. This first episode's name shall be Of Ghosts Long Past. And
Ooh.
if we
Well,
had
that sounds like bad news for us.
if we had a cool intro, this is where it would go in. If you're looking for work and you want to make us a cool intro, right here is where it'll go in. Okay, so
Me looking out into the audience for my cousin who does animation.
hello. All right. So the ship, the USS Guinevere, is a Galaxy-class vessel. She is she's sort of getting up there in years, at least. She's not one of the newest ships in the fleet. Not the shiny new Sovereign classes or anything like that. But she's still a good ship. She's still a good, powerful, beautiful ship. And she is on a 2-month journey to the Shackleton Expanse, which is a vast expanse of space about on the other side of Klingon territory, in a little pocket of Federation space that's sort of cut off from everyone else. And this is where the USS Guinevere will be spending her and its crew will be spending their time exploring this widely unexplored expanse of space. It's been, I believe, 7 or 8 years since the Dominion War, which last took 5. We're in.
The Battle of Cardassia was 2377, and you said it's 2382 now?
Yes, so it is 5 years. My bad. Thank you for
No,
keeping me
that's
honest.
okay, sorry. No, I sent out those emails saying the 5th anniversary is coming up soon.
That's right.
Guys, if you want to have a drink, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been attempting to forget my service in the war, so.
Mm.
Mm.
So yeah, so it's been 5
Sorry
years.
about that, Avery.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. You helped me yell out because I would have gotten that wrong, and then people on the internet would have yelled at me. So
Okay, alright.
it's been
So instead, you get yelled at in the moment.
in the moment by Rue,
Woo!
all the way across the pond.
By one
We
person
love
whose
to
face
see
you can
it.
see, so
Okay, so it's been 5 years since the Dominion War, which was a huge, like, almost galaxy-spanning war between the Federation, which is what our crew members are a part of, and the Dominion, which is the evil bad guy of the show, who lived way in across the expansive space, way across. We don't like him. Boo, boo, Dominion. But that's all over now. It was a devastating war, but that's all over now, and so Starfleet is turning its attention back to exploration. And so they took the USS Guinevere, a ship that was spent most of its time within Federation space and actually served in Dominion War itself. They refitted it to handle deep space exploration, got a new crew, got a new captain, and shipped her off. So, it's 2 months of travel. It's going to be relatively uneventful travel. So, what does everyone do to fill their time? whoever wants to go first can go first.
I'll jump in because I've been thinking about this a lot.
I'll go first
Okay.
as the captain.
Yeah, as the captain. Let's see. Our first shot of the show is just going to be panning up to where are we?
So, Obra's probably going to spend a lot of their time getting to know the various departments. It's a very science-heavy ship, so they'll be spending time observing a lot of the laboratories as they're setting up for experiments that will be running over the course of the trip. They're trying to get to know people. There's over 1,000 people on board the ship. It's a lot. They'll be spending time on rotating through all 4 shifts to try and get to know the bridge crew that works each of the shifts. Just feeling their way around. This is their first time as captain, so they're still kind of feeling out the type of captain they'd like to be, but they're pretty sure what they want to do is get to know the ship and her crew. So they'll be spending a lot of time popping up unexpectedly in places and asking what people are doing.
Oh, good.
It's definitely you can tell the crew is still trying to gauge what kind of captain you are as well. A lot of times, anytime you enter like a laboratory, like an ensign will see you and pop up and go like, "Oh, sir," like "Sir," and then you ask them what they're doing. They're like, "Just some diagnostics, sir," and they like overuse the word "sir" because they don't know what to use. They're like, yes, sir. Is there anything else I can help you with, sir?
No, I'm just interested in getting to know the lay of the land down here. Are you primarily in charge of diagnostics here, or is there? Are you preparing for a particular experiment, or?
Oh, I don't. You could tell the officer is in a yellow shirt, so you can tell they're engineering, and they kind of like, no, they just wanted someone to realign one of the matrices, and I was just realigning the matrix C's, sir.
Excellent. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're okay, sir. And then they go back to their work. They have a little hyper spanner, and they're just doing some electrical work.
I will leave them to it.
Nice. Okay. Anything else?
Depending on what everyone else does, hopefully not. But
they might warrant a visit from the captain. Yeah.
But I've met all of them, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'm running down protocol checklists. My job is the XO, and it's my job as the only one who knows where the protocol checklists are. So I'm just running around to various, not even running, I'm just wandering around with a clipboard. Like with an actual pen and a piece of paper, because I'm like, I've had a pad crash on me way too many damn times to do this 4th time over again. So I'm walking around with an honest to God clipboard and a piece of paper. Like, okay, are you like, do you have the forms that you need to do? Does everybody here have their like access badges for the places you need to get? I'm just making sure that everybody is like, that no one's having an emergency in week 1. And that there's not going to be one because someone forgot to double check the like breaker switch.
I love that. I just love like, so you like are basically just you're doing kind of the same thing the captain's doing, but like 10 like 30 feet behind them. After they leave a room, you enter the room and be like, you better get this right.
I'm just like, do you have the breaker switch flipped? Is everybody following the safety procedures here? Why aren't you wearing goggles right now?
PPE.
Exactly. do you have your badge? I was hearing there was badge issues with the access gate in like floor D or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I'm auditing.
I love that.
I did forensic accounting. This is what I'm good at.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay. Who next?
I'll go ahead and go.
Okay.
So I think we pan into Daru's quarters, which are pretty simple, except on the walls there is a bat'leth. There's also a, I don't know how to pronounce it, kafrisk, which is basically a really big Endorian axe with spikes all over it.
Ooh.
Basically. There's a rapier, there's just all of the daggers you could ever imagine. In all styles. Some of them have carved handles, some of them are fairly simple and more utilitarian. And then you shift to sort of the middle of the room where Daru is made like quite elaborately over the top, reading complete with voices and acting out in costumes, an excerpt of The Wizard of Oz, which they are then going to send to their little sister.
Oh.
So I think that's, and sort of throughout the rest of the 2 months, because obviously that's not the only thing they do for 2 months, taking walks with the Admiral, offering to teach people like basic self-defense, getting to know the security team, making sure the security team is up to their pretty intensely high standard of like, you know how to defend yourself and other people, and you know how to find exits in any situation, etc. So I think that's most of their month.
Oh man. You are doing one of your recordings of Wizard of Oz, and sometimes it's you're really feeling it, and at the middle of one particular scene, how are you reading it? Are you reading it through a pad? I would assume.
Yeah, so like pad is set up here where I can see it, and then camera is set up here,
Okay.
sort of thing.
Yeah. As you're as you're recording, you get a heavy nudge on your thigh as the admiral, like seemingly wanting for more attention, just bumps into you, and those like slightly dulled tusks just bumps into you, goes
They will just computer stop recording, and we'll just plop on the floor and just cuddle roughhouse with the Admiral, who, for context, is a puppy targ.
it's a puppy targ.
There we go.
Targs
I
are
was waiting for the context. I was waiting for the context.
You'll get any.
Oh,
We're gonna.
yeah.
I was content with going this entire show without giving any context. Like,
Yep.
let people just guess at the what the hell we're
I
talking
wish
about.
I had done that.
Yeah, so a puppy targ is a Klingon, basically a big, beefy Klingon dog, pig dog,
With tusks
dog with
and
tusks,
very sharp teeth.
very sharp teeth. They are intense. They are very Klingon. If you know what a Klingon is, they're very Klingon.
It looks like a cross between a dog and a wild boar.
Pretty much.
I
Nice.
decided basically they're popular pets on Kronos because if you can manage to tame one without losing a limb, you're doing well.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so yeah, you get a brief interruption, but it's obviously a welcome interruption from the Admiral. All right, who's next?
Situla, do you want to go, or you?
I can go.
I'm
Situla-
still percolating, honestly. I hadn't thought this far ahead.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, Situla. Where are you? What are we doing?
I guess we pan in on their lab, and Situla is putting the finishing touches on a write-up of everything Z learned about a strange organism Z encountered on their previous mission, to send back to like whoever the science authorities are that you send your research to. I don't know.
I like to imagine that this wasn't solicited at all. They're just about to get to like all like email that they don't understand where it came from. They're just like, someone sent us fan mail at the Institute.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There is the Daystrom Institute, which is not Starfleet, I don't believe. But it is one of the most like renowned science institutes of the Federation.
It's like unsolicited journal submissions. You're just sending everybody this like dissertation level.
Yes. Situla just wants to get it out there before Z disappears into the Shackleton Expanse for 5 years.
So this is going to come through, no follow-up, and then radio silence for half a decade.
Yes.
Just complete radio. They're like, what the hell?
I imagine a science institute can respect that.
They would.
Yeah.
And I'd say Z finishes that in like the first month, sends it off, and then spends the second month of the journey like begrudgingly babysitting all of the scientists, and is just like, I'm like you, and I know how you think, and like I admire and respect it, but being in a position of authority means that I have to tell you not to blow shit up.
I have
I was going
to
to say
tell
a
you.
taste of their own medicine a little bit.
Yeah. And then sometimes goes and finds the Admiral and Daru, and it's like sometimes maybe you just run into Situla, and Situla is just like, oh, fancy running into you here, and like just completely pretending not to have been purposefully there to run into Daru.
That's delightful. I think several times over the course of the 2 months, while Daru is walking the Admiral, all of a sudden the Admiral takes off towards Situla and just like makes a beeline for you.
Oh man, that must be.
Situla does the face that you make when you're pretending not to be like, because Situla would never like make an like face that would be undignified.
Because launching yourself out of an airlock is dignified.
That was for science, and Situla doesn't care about dignity when there's science involved.
Okay.
There are definitely a couple of the scientists on the crew where Situla is like, dude, you can't do that. They're like, didn't you like launch yourself out of an airlock once?
Meaningless, moving on.
Irrelevant.
Now.
Yes, but now I'm the chief science officer, so we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, now I'm in charge.
Now we don't do that anymore.
It's Oliver.
Unless I have a really good reason. None of your reasons will ever be good enough, but mine might.
Mine might.
I'm in charge here.
I love that.
I will consider it if you explain it properly. Yeah.
Okay.
You done?
He's gone. Oliver's gone. Okay, last but not least. I love saying that phrase.
But
Ooh.
actually last, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, hi. So we sort of pan in on a darkened office. There are pads that are lit up, clearly with multiple forms of personnel files that someone has clearly just been trying to read. And Mabrin stands a lone figure in front of a Bajoran candle of mourning, basically. So it's a sort of it's sort of made of 3 smallish towers with a hanging candle in the middle, and as she lights it, the camera sort of turns and you see 2 pictures. One to a Klingon, these very big burly Klingon, and then the next picture is a rather ginger Bajoran young woman. So she's sort of muttering a Bajoran prayer under her breath as she does that, and it's a sort of pan over to the date, and you can kind of tell it's the 5th anniversary of the Battle of Cardassia. We're placing this in time here. and then it's just a case of frantically going around the crew, 1,000 strong, of checkups, of just overseeing and just double checking, triple checking that everyone is okay. I know, well, and she knows that she has the staff in order to do that for her, really. But she just kind of just like, just send me the files just in case of anything that pings that just looks interesting, and we'll make sure we'll keep an eye on it. If any of Situla's lackeys decide to do anything too drastic this month, let me know.
You do get a couple of visits. A nurse comes to you at one point. I'm pulling from the list. Hang on. A human ensign, Nurse Elodie Montiliet. She comes up to you a little frazzled, and she says, sir, there's a patient here. Well, I think you should.
Everything all right?
Yes. It's just it's Dr. Olive St. Pierre.
Okay. I'll be there with you. Right. I recognise the name. I think that was one that was on Situla's list that Zir sent me. So, begrudgingly, gets out of her chair and follows Ensign Montilier out.
Yep, and that's where the scene ends, because I don't know enough about medical things to actually come up with a medical problem
Fair
for you to
enough.
solve.
No, that's fine. That's fair. Neither do I.
It's
Okay,
alcohol poisoning.
probably.
It's just enough to know that he did something that
Yeah,
landed him in medbay. That's delightful.
yeah, they did something. All right, let me pull up my notes again. All right. So after 2 seemingly uneventful months, you arrive at Narendra Station. So to get here, you had to cross Klingon space to get here. So there was a few weeks of where you're in technically foreign territory, which was a little if things weren't going so well with the Klingons right now, you'd be a little nervous, but you're not, because things are going pretty well with the Klingons. So well, in fact, that the station you arrived to is co-supported between the Federation and the Klingon Empire. It seems that it's a joint project. So Narendra Station, also known as Starbase 364, is an outpost here, basically a stopping point into the Shackleton Expanse. This is where your ship will be technically stationed, and then after some time you'll be sent off into things. Uh-oh. Hang on, we lost Aru.
I think we got one back.
We
We're
got
good.
Aru back.
Yay.
Yay!
I think I froze because all of you had stopped. I was like, oh.
Oh no. What was the last thing you heard?
Yeah. That it's co-owned by the Klingons and the Federation.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep.
That's as far as I heard.
All right. So that station is Narendra Station, also known as Starbase 364. I think I said that. And it is an outpost out here in the right before the Shackleton Expanse. And it is where you'll be jumping off from before heading out into the deep black expanse of the Shackleton Expanse. So, as the ship pulls out of warp, you immediately get a hail, which I believe would go through to the security officer.
Yep.
Yes. So the ship receives a hail from the Admiral's office.
Captain, we're being held by the Admiral's office.
Bring him through.
Do whatever is required to put that up on the screen
Yep.
that the captain can see.
You tap the screens a couple times, and on the view screen pops up. It is the Admiral. So this is Admiral April Hebert. which is spelled Herbert. I think I'm spelling that right.
H-E-R.
Hang on, let me pull it up.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Hebert. Hebert.
Is that French?
Yes, it is.
How dare you?
I did not make this NPC. This NPC was pre-made for me.
We're having some technical difficulties.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We lost Moon.
Again. Oh boy. Oh,
I'm surprised we managed to get through so much
Sorry.
before we started.
no, it's okay. We got like through a half hour so far, which is good.
Nice.
Things are loading now, except for Rico. Rico is still 2 dancing squares.
Oh no!
But I can hear you.
You get
So
that's
I'm
good.
happy. We can keep
Honestly,
going.
that's
I can
probably
go
a
back.
that's probably a benefit, not seeing Vico but being able to.
Rules.
Our faces are all swapped up on the screen, though. Unfortunately.
They're not now. They should fix themselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think so. Yeah.
It's because the stream is on delay,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah, it's back to normal on my screen. So. Normal person.
Welcome to technical difficulties, the stream.
The stream, the movie. All right.
As we all know, Star Trek movies have been historically good.
Every single one.
What if technical difficulties are our version of a lens flare? Just pop them in there.
It's not.
Just blinding
There's too many
me.
lens flares. You don't want that many technical difficulties.
I'm gonna vote no on that one.
Yeah.
Hard no on that one. All right. Back to it. That's interesting. My mouse cursor's disappeared, but I can still.
Oh.
That's so weird. All right. Anyway, you pull up. So, sorry, the Admiral's face comes up on screen. And I'm trying to remember how she looks, but she looks like a seasoned veteran. She's of, I believe she's
So
of.
tired.
She is. You could definitely tell. There's definitely lines underneath her. Sort of darkish skin. You can tell she's probably of maybe Indian, human. She's human of Indian descent, and she looks at you and gives you a curt smile and a nod. She says, "Captain, welcome.
Admiral?
Welcome to the Shackleton Expanse. We've been expecting you."
I, the person playing this character, don't know what I'm doing. Trying to remember what I say.
Something nice and diplomatic?
Yeah, something along the lines of permission to come aboard, but that's not quite.
Permission to
But
dock,
I'm
I
actually
think, would be the accurate thing.
Requesting clearance to dock?
You are all clear
Sounds
for
good.
dock. I will meet you at the. Oh my gosh! Now I'm forgetting words. It's the word like at the airlock. I'll meet you at the airlock. I expect your first officer would be there as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the call ends. And you slowly dock up against the sides of the station. The station is circular mostly. It's got like a little dome shape to it with a long little spout at the bottom extending down. And you.
How does Dave Evan do with parallel parking?
Oh, I'm great at it. On Earth and in space, we have no issues.
So good, don't even need to roll.
It's nice enough that he sort of like looks around a little bit to be like, anybody notice that? No? Fine, whatever.
Haru notices it. and
Anybody
is
see the
really
beautiful
impressed.
dock job I just pulled?
Check out the dock job on that ship. Woo!
You really only know notice the piloting when it goes wrong, so the fact
Yeah.
that we didn't notice is probably a good thing.
The great tragedy of my career.
Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
Really? You're going to pick that as the great tragedy of your career?
Yep, feel pretty good about the rest of it.
So we cut to just outside the airlock with the captain and the first officer stepping out, and Admiral Aber and her Vulcan assistant standing beside her, and she has her arms crossed behind her back, and she has her Admiralty uniform on, all decked out in pips. She says, "Welcome aboard, Captain. We have some things we need to discuss."
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you. Why don't you follow me to my office? And she leads you to her office. And then once you get there, you walk in, and it is it's a sizable office, one you would expect for an admiral. There's some there's a few knickknacks and stuff hanging from the wall, a couple a plaque and a model of an older ship. You assume probably one that she commanded before. And she sits down behind her desk and she offers a seat for you both to sit.
We'll sit down and kind of angle the chair a little bit so that I can see both. Have line of sight on the faces of both her and
Okay.
my exo.
Cool.
For lip reading purposes.
Yeah. Okay. You do that, and she will lean forward on her desk, place her elbows on and under her chin. She says, "I have to be honest with you, Captain. When I first heard that we were getting assigned another big ship to monitor the Shackleton Expanse with us and explore, well, I was both nervous and excited. See, nervous because with more people there comes more problems. But excited because, well, the more people we have exploring this expanse, the better. There's still a lot we don't know out there, and you're going to be out there a long time, alone. Is that something you and your crew are prepared to handle?"
I believe so. I've done my best to prepare them as well as we can on the way here. And I think that we are well situated for an extended period of deep space.
Very well. You are scheduled to depart in a few days. Your crew can take some time to get to know the station a little bit. Avery's thinking of things to say.
In the interim, my cat is yelling outside my bedroom door, so if you do hear him somehow.
You might be able to hear my dog too sometimes, so understandable.
Okay, there we go, yeah.
I can't hear it right now, so you're fine.
Yeah. No, it is the quieter one. It probably means he's hungry.
Oh, hungry
Very
baby. All right. She leans back in her chair a little bit and says, "You and the other ships in this sector have an important job to do. It's to keep the spirit of the Federation alive. It seems it's been a few years, but I'm still concerned that we haven't lost the militaristic aspect of our time in the war. I think it's time we get back to exploration."
I agree. I am looking forward to at least attempting to leave the militaristic parts of my previous tours back in Federation space.
I can understand that. I felt the same way when I got back out here. And while you two, so you three have a nice congenial diplomatic discussion. I'm gonna skip over or slide over to the bridge, where Situla, you are currently on shift. You are currently sitting at the science station, and you receive a signal. Why don't you roll a reason science check for me?
Okay, is that a 20?
So yeah, so it's so 2d20, and then add your reason and science together, and you want to roll under that number.
Is the ship also?
Yes, the ship will be
contributing?
assisting with sensor science.
I do not have that character sheet pulled up.
Oh, I can pull it up. I can pull that up.
Okay, my reason is... Okay, so I have to be under a 17 if
Mhm.
we're taking just my reason and science.
Yes. And what are your focuses?
See, protocol, anthropology, botany, genetics, xenobiology.
Okay, none of them will apply in this instance, but you can still roll. This is going to be a difficulty 0, so there's no chance of failure. This is just a way to gain momentum.
Okay,
Yay,
well,
momentum.
nice. I got a 5 and a 10, so
That's 2 successes. So you
hell
bank
yeah.
2 momentum as soon as I can get this. Not seeing my mouse is really bothering me. Hang on.
That should be. The ship got a 3.
Ship
So
got a 3,
Nice.
so science sensors, yes, that's a success as well. So you gain 3 momentum. So
We.
okay. And you receive a heavily degraded message or a signal. And working through it, at first it initially comes through as like muffled like background radiation, just like muffled, almost like you put a microphone up to a sun and turned up the volume and just let the noise go. And then you start to realize that there's actually wave patterns and actual discernible audio coming from it, and you start to clean up the file, and you start to hear a message. It comes through very very staticky, but this is sort of what you hear. You hear how hellish will it be if I start making static sounds? I'm gonna make static
I
sounds.
don't know, make them and we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that?
A little bit.
All right, I won't do them. All right.
fine for now.
Sorry.
I won't do them. So you hear to anyone
Method acting.
to anyone static. Who hear this? This is Captain Kirshen of the SS Magpie. We are caught in static. Unknown anomaly. We are being bombarded. Static. Waves. Please, if anyone can hear this static, we need immediate help. Static, and then the message cuts off. So one things you can do as science officer is you can first, I think, let me pull up the. Oh, where's my book? Oh, I left it over there. I'm gonna go grab my book.
Not the book.
Captain Crucian in that message.
Yeah.
Yep.
Haru is definitely going to go over to the science station.
I look up at Captain Kirshen.
Kirshen's out there.
Incursion isn't here.
I
Oh,
don't
not
think it's
here.
in the room at the moment.
Captain and first officer are
Off
on
the
the
ship.
starbase.
We're outie.
I believe you, Situla, currently have the bridge.
Fuck.
Oh god.
Because you're the... I think you would be the ranking senior staff officer on bridge.
Oh boy.
Because you outrank Daru.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So Daru would be there, but you
Um,
outrank them.
So one thing you do know, or one thing that, just so you know, Vico, as science officer, whenever you succeed on a ship that's assisted by the, succeed on a role, there we go, a task, that's assisted by the ship's sensors, you get an extra momentum that you can use to immediately use to obtain information. Basically, you get to ask me a question and I answer honestly.
I would like to let me figure out which question I should ask.
And then you can also spend more momentum because you gain 3 momentum, so you can spend some of that if you want to
Yes.
get more.
Okay. Heck. Is the Magpie, the SS Magpie, a currently like in operation ship in Starfleet?
It is, so you can look up quickly on database. You know it's not a Starfleet ship. You know it's a civilian freighter. And
Okay.
it is currently it last left Neuranger Station heading for the Lethea system, depositing some personnel and supplies and cargo.
And how long ago was that?
They left probably about 4 days ago.
Okay. I want to try to figure out where the signal is coming from.
Okay.
Like, yes.
I would like to be doing something simultaneously.
Okay.
I would like to be finding as much information as I can about the captain of the Magpie.
Okay. Yes. So you can definitely look it up. I think this is I think the reason why, because I named this character before, I think, or I did not think about naming it. So their name is Kershen. So Kershen. Kershen, not Krishan.
Oh Christ.
Daru will
Okay.
then communicate to Situla. It's not anything temporal related. Just have to have a very similar name to our captain.
Okay.
How
There was
disappointed
definitely-
how disappointed is Situla that it's not time travel?
A little. A
I was
little.
gonna say the
bit.
Magpie is not on my backstory, so that would be
It's just-
Was it on
future.
your 4 story? Because
Ooh.
Ooh. Situla's like,
Not as cool.
oh,
Regular
not as
destruction.
cool. And immediately sets about trying to like pinpoint the coordinates of the signal.
Okay. I can give that to you with just an extra momentum.
Okay, cool.
All right. And you know it is coming from the Lethea system, so I can spell that for you if you'd like.
Yes.
Liethea.
HEA.
And Daru, why don't you make a security reason check? And this ship will assist you with computers security as well. So if someone wants to roll for the ship, so whenever you make a roll on the ship will assist you. And so I usually like to have someone from one of y'all roll for the ship. So assisting, you only roll 1d20, and you have to roll underneath the ship's computers and security.
Is it me or you, Kai?
Since you're on the ship, you can do it.
So you need to roll below an 11.
Question, does my
Yeah,
focus of
6.
hazard awareness come into play?
rolled a 6, so we're fine.
Okay, so we got 1. Yes, I'll say yes.
Okay, 3 from me.
3, so that's 4 total successes. So, oh, and it was a difficult. I'm gonna put that as difficulty 1. So, put you back up. Sorry, I also like keeping track of momentum for you, just because I like to have things organized. Anyway, so you quickly uncover. What are you looking for specifically?
I was just looking for the name, like information on the captain to figure out if it was time shenanigans.
Okay.
Because I think through the static, Daru heard
Christian.
the name incorrectly and was like, "Oh, well, what?" And like immediately went to the computer and tried to figure it.
So yeah, so
Oh,
you know Captain Kirshen, which I should probably change, but I've already said the name out loud, so I can't change it.
Kershwin.
Gershwin, there we go.
Win.
Gershwin, there we go.
I think it spices things up.
It makes you really listen. Makes you really gotta listen.
Keeps us on our toes.
Yeah. So Captain Kirshen is currently the captain of the SS Magpie. He was here last on the station 4 days ago, when the ship left the station. You reading up on his file, there's not much. He's a Federation citizen. So and he's not part of Starfleet, so you can't get his Starfleet file on it, so you can't really get too much. So
Just not the same person as my captain.
not the same person as your
I was
captain.
looking for.
Absolutely no relation. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted?
My captain.
Captain, no, my captain. Contenders for episode titles.
I
I think maybe I should write that down just in case. Hang on. Captain, not my captain.
I definitely tap my comm badge. Those are still in use, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how it was. That's how things happen in DS9. I tap my comm badge and go, Captain Obra Christian. We
Do I
have.
hear,
What was that guy?
does that connect when I'm on base from the ship?
Yeah, it'll connect easily. You're in a Federation starbase. It'll connect easily. Yeah, you're in mid conversation with the admiral when you hear chirp from your comm badge.
Go ahead.
This is Lieutenant Sichula. We've just received an emergency distress signal from the civilian SS Magpie. I've narrowed down the location to the Liathea system.
I will look up at the admiral.
Yeah, she's giving you a furrowed brow and a concerned face. The Magpie left here 4 days ago.
Are there known issues in the Liathea system?
The Thea system there's a new colony there. Liathea 5 is an archaeological
Ooh.
dig site there. Just started a few months ago.
Captain, where are you asking?
I was just wondering if it's common to receive distress signals from the Liathea system.
Not common at all. In fact, very rare.
Would you like
Admiral,
me to have... Sorry, go ahead.
Admiral, are they someone you can contact from your office? Would you be able to open a line to them here?
I'm afraid the delay will be too far. We can try, but the delay and the anomalies in the expanse might be difficult. And if it's a distress signal, I don't want to take any chances. I'm sorry, Captain. I know I said I would give you some days off, but it seems I might have to put you straight into work.
Absolutely. I guess I will. I guess it's a good thing I didn't let the crew off the ship yet.
Indeed. Try to make contact with them first, and then if you can't, head directly there.
Will do. And then I will get back to Situla. Christian to the USS Guinevere.
Go ahead, Captain.
Can you attempt to respond to that signal? Lieutenant Scott and I are on our way back.
Will do. Then, because communications are not my forte, I turn and I like wave over a comms officer to help me.
Okay.
Do we have one of those yet?
We don't have a comms officer.
Yeah, I was going to say our list is mostly blue right now.
Yeah, we have like a huge spreadsheet of characters, and we got mostly blue, so I'm gonna make one up.
Most of whom were made by Rue.
Well,
Rue has populated like the entirety of medical already.
It's great.
Not the entirety.
Almost. Hang on, I'm just
It's
pulling-
almost
Yeah,
the
from, so
100
12
odd people they needed.
to 90 of medical stuff.
Listen, I made the cook, and I've got my yeoman. That's all I need.
Priorities.
I made some scientists.
I
Okay.
made Dave.
I did make one medical
Dave.
officer. To be fair.
You can wave a comms officer, or you can ask Daru maybe to send it, because Daru would probably be in charge of comms as well.
And I would probably know that.
Yes, you would, as acting as the in charge of the
Also
bridge.
being friends into the academy.
Yeah.
Probably.
Comms and security are both operations, so they wear the same colors.
That's right.
Hey. So yeah, I
Lovely
turn
mustard.
to Daru and say, Junior Lieutenant Daru Udrach,
You
should I
almost
pronounce
got
it
it
right?
correct this time. I'm very impressed, Lieutenant.
Let me do over.
Mulligan. Take two.
Starting over.
Junior Lieutenant Daru Udrag, if you would assist me in attempting to contact the magpie.
There is a mild rolling of the eyes
Mhm.
at the mispronunciation of the last name. Say, of course, Lieutenant. And we'll go to their their console and start
Okay.
trying to get the ship.
Let's see what to roll. Let me pull up a little sheet here.
We gotta save the proper pronunciation of the name for like
The
a
last
big
episode.
scene.
Yeah.
The last episode.
Or like really serious moments. All
A
right.
dramatic death scene.
Or what
Ooh.
would be even funnier is for all of the not serious moments.
That's
is
right.
what you pronounce.
Yeah.
Daru's always like, you got it right. What's going on?
In the serious moment is when it's Lieutenant Uwu.
Ooh. Ooh. All right. Daru, why don't you roll me a control security check? And the ship will be.
I made this character really heavily good at unarmed combat. I don't think any of my focuses apply to this.
No. And the ship will assist with with communications engineering.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what you need to roll under.
That looks like maybe a 20.
No, it's not 20.
Okay.
It's not great.
You have to roll under a 13.
Well, I rolled a 14.
Oh, so no help from the Gwen. 2 successes?
Maybe from now on, you tell me what number I'm supposed to roll under, and then I know.
Yeah.
I've made it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it was a difficulty 1. I'm doing that thing where I forget to say the difficulty before I do it. So it's a difficulty 1. So you succeed and you gain a momentum. there is you send a hail out. You send through the subspace relays. The very few that are out here, but you send one out. You know it's going to take a few moments for a reply if there is going to be a reply. It's going to be on a heavy delay. And after a minute, 5 minutes, there's no response. And you know the hail went through. You don't know if it made. You don't know if it. You know it was sent to its destination. You don't know whether it was received or not.
So we don't have our red receipts on.
No. Magpie does not have their red receipts on, no.
We left
Darn.
a voicemail, but we don't know if they've listened to it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid this probably doesn't bode well for the Magpie, Lieutenant.
We should likely prepare to set off right away.
Agreed.
At what point did Dave, Evan, and I get back?
We can say right now. The
Awesome.
turbolift door is open, and the captain and the first officer step out.
Captain, I attempted to reach them and there was no reply.
Well, I was planning on giving some shore leave before we set out into the expanse, but it looks like we'll have to take a rain check on that.
Some of the ensigns, like one of the ensigns, like in Dave's spot, because he wasn't there, has gotten up to for Dave to sit into his spot, and he kind of looks a little dejected at the thought of no shore leave, but he resumes his station somewhere else on the bridge. Yep.
If Lieutenant Scott, if you could start charting a course for us to the Lithea system, I'd like to take a listen to the message.
I will replay it.
Okay, and it replays for you. Do you need me to repeat it, or
I wrote it down.
you wrote it down? Okay, so yeah, so it plays for you. You hear the distortion in it, and actually, because of your implants, I'm gonna give you some information. Actually,
I was gonna say, I have a thing.
yeah, but is there an actual thing for it?
It's sensory replacement. I can use the obtain information to get additional information through my implants that would not be, in this case, audible to normal
Okay.
human.
What are you listening for? Just because I'm gonna make this a roll, but then I'm gonna just what are you listening for?
I'm specifically listening for anything that tells me what we're flying into.
Okay.
If it's a weather system, if it's a meteor shower, if it's a attack
Right.
from another colony or something. I just kind of want to get a sense. So I don't know if I'm presuming that when we were in the Admiral's office, we didn't actually hear the message the first time.
No.
So I want to just actually hear it.
Okay.
The person who knows what the message is already, want to know if I can hear anything more about the anomaly or the waves that I wrote down.
Okay. Why don't you make a reason, because you're just listening to it, make a reason security check. And
that is
no success, no assisting from the ship because it's just your ears. Difficulty 1. Gotta say that.
So I have 1 success
Okay.
and a 20.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Is that good news?
That's
or
bad.
Oh,
news?
that's very
20
bad
is
news for
bad.
us.
Good. Great. I love that.
20 is a complication.
Uh,
Oh. Cool.
I'm gonna bank that as threat for now, so nothing bad's gonna happen, but I do gain 2 threat.
That's
Nothing
almost
bad happens
worse.
now.
Now, yes.
Nothing bad happened yet.
Yet.
That's just anxiety.
Yep.
That's just anxiety.
Better watch out.
But
Better
You
watch
better
out.
watch out. You better watch out.
so you you hear the same things. You hear it again, and you want to use that obtain information. Or actually, let me give you something that has not been told to you yet, and then I will.
So I have the what's it called? The talent up here. It says the character gains the artificial sense trait, which can be used normally.
Right.
In addition, when using the obtain information momentum spend, they may ask questions or be given information not normally available with organic senses.
Okay. All right. So based on just your trait of having the heightened hearing or the sensor replacement, you hear a distortion coming through. A distortion that almost has like a specific sound to it, and you're trying to remember where you heard that sound before, and it was in a way back in the academy. It was the sound you heard that no one else could hear. The sound of a specific type of radiation. And you're searching your brain to remember what it was, and you like pull up a just tap some buttons on the screen to like pull up a few like instances of radiation waves, sounds of radiation, and you hear one of them known as triolic waves. That's spelled Triolic. Triolic. And so you're hearing.
I imagine that this probably takes a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like listening to it over and over again, like, sounds really familiar, play it again. Sounds really familiar, play it again.
Yeah. So yeah, you remember way back in the academy hearing like they were like giving presentations on different types of radiation and its effects on humanoid things. If you want to do obtain information for more information about that, you definitely can.
I would like to spend a momentum. I don't know how many momentum I have to spend for that, actually. Let me.
Just one for obtain information.
Just one?
Just one.
My printed out cheat sheets here. I would like to spend a momentum for obtain information.
Okay. I'll mark that for you. All right. You know triolic waves, remembering back from your time. You remember their devastating effects on humanoid cells. Oh. Yelly boy.
Reaction
Batman
sounds.
wants to play.
You know that they prolonged exposure leads to degradation of cells and overall not great things. They're used by very few species. Quick question: when was Obra in the academy, like years wise?
Oh, jeez. Graduated the academy in 2368. I don't know if it would have been covered in command school.
No, it probably wouldn't have. It was
Okay.
like your
Is this like a
basic science class. Yeah.
So
continuing
2368.
captain's education
Yeah.
seminar?
Be careful of
So-
trialic waves.
So it's like 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So
14.
then that's all the information you get. You know that they're not used by many species because of their effects. They're a byproduct of energy sources. So basically, whenever someone uses an energy source, sometimes that specific energy source will radiate triolic waves, and only certain species can use them.
Are they naturally occurring?
No. I'll give you that for free.
I'd imagine that as I'm like charting our course for wherever it is we're aiming towards at the moment on the ship, probably at some point like haven't heard the captain say anything in a minute or two, and just sort of like turn around and look at them and just try and, because you're probably sitting there going over like, what are you describe what you're doing, Captain? Like, what does it
So-
look like to me that you're doing?
So Obra is standing over at Situla's station, at the science station, and they have one hand up against their I go back and forth between calling it an implant because it's removable. It's not really.
It is
like,
called an
attached.
implant because there is a piece that is actually implanted. You can take out the outer part,
Yeah.
but you can still call it an
Yeah.
implant.
Yeah. But future Star Trek terms, I don't actually know if it would be implanted anymore or not. But
As the medical officer, yes, there are implants for some species. I don't know whether or not that will include things.
I am
There are
hand waving
implants.
the science of it.
Right.
So they have one hand kind of like pressing that into their ear, and the other one is on the L cars, and they're just tapping and then tapping, and it like every time they tap, they're listening to something. And at first, it's repeating the message over and over again to catch all of the audio, and then after that, it's the samples of the various radiation waves, like trying to get the right. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. There it is. So Situla would be able to see all of this on the Okudagram, but otherwise it just looks like.
Okay, so I have the chart. I have the course charted, and once I have it like set up so that I know where it is we're going, and I can basically just put the ship on autopilot for the first part, because it's not like this is going to be complicated for the first 10 minutes. I'm gonna like look around and find that ensign who was in my seat earlier, and sort of just be like,
Yes.
wave him over,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and I'm just like, just a second, I'll be right back.
Okay, sir. So Captain, do you order the ship to go into warp?
I don't order the ship to go anywhere until after I've listened to the message. So I think it's an awkward like standing around waiting for me to make a decision.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, which is, so I've sat this person down just because I feel like I'm just twitchy about leaving the seat empty. There's really nothing for him to even do.
Yeah, he's just
So
sitting
it's
there.
just like, just come sit here in the hot seat and
I see.
don't bitch
Keep
about
it warm for me.
And so I'm like gonna pop over, just like stand not over the captain's shoulder because that feels rude, but just close enough that I'm like very obviously in eyesight, and be like, just stand there and wait.
And
Is it really obvious to the people not on the bridge that something may be happening? We're just sat at a starbase.
You have got sat at the starbase, and you haven't had the all clear to leave yet. So, and it's
I
been
think-
a little bit. So, if you want to be in the scene,
I think I might.
I mean, I'll give it another like 10 minutes or something. It might just be that they're just organizing something or other with the
with paperwork and that, yeah, you know the first officer likes paperwork, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's true, I do.
So
I feel like though, for a good excuse for you to be here, Mabrin,
I
is
don't mind not playing. It's just I'm just like.
No, well, I do think it would be something where I'm just sort of looking around and like, okay, something clearly is not all a-okay here. And if whatever it is we're walking into is something the captain's gathering information on, because I know a thinking face and that's a thinking face, maybe this is something our CMO wants to get read in on. So I think I will probably have sent like a text message or like whatever. I just said that like an alien, a text message, a message of text. This isn't like a voice recording or anything, just a text to the CMO being like, potential medical briefing information shortly. Just keeping everybody on the same page, because if there's something you're going to need to know, that could come up, because that's a thinking face and it's not a good one.
So I think after a couple of minutes of awkward silence, I'll kind of turn to Dave Evan and say, if you want to let everyone know that we will be heading out shortly, I think we're going to have to be careful about this one.
Understood. What kind of careful? Is this a keep your mouth shut and say only what everyone needs to know careful, or is this a...
Oh, no, this is a radiation sickness. Careful.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
All
no.
right. Yeah, Mabrin should be here in a minute, so good news on that. And I just go back over and I just sort of like, thanks, man, at the ensign who's sitting in my chair.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving you to make the announcement to the ship to prepare to depart.
Got it. All right. So I'm back at my seat, and can I like enter the intercom from my seat at the flight?
You can easily override any console and just do it whatever you want from
you
wherever.
have the power.
I do. I'm the XO. That's new and special. And so I'm just like, yeah, thanks, man, at the ensign in my seat.
Gives you a nod and walks away.
Resume control. So I'm gonna override and enter the intership's intercom and be like, attention crew, this is your XO Lieutenant Scott speaking. Please prepare for departure. We are about to enter warp. And then that's the end of the transition.
Daru takes a moment to send a message to their friend on Narendra to say, sorry, sparring tomorrow is canceled. I'm leaving earlier than expected.
Aw. There's gonna be a lot of those going out. Just like sorry, I'm line of duty. Call of Duty, that video game. All right, bye. All right. So the ship jumps into warp.
Like that old Earth game.
Like that old Earth video game. All right. So
our great grandparents used to play.
There's probably an aside moment where Situla notices what type of radiation the captain has stopped on, and just like immediately sends a message to Dr. Achu that he is to stay in his lab and not do anything.
I think I probably also send a message of
trouble.
It took me until you said that name out loud for it to connect.
Right?
I'm gonna send a follow-up to Mabrin being like, previous message, update, radiation. That's the entirety of the message.
Mabrin is on her way to the bridge.
Yeah.
Actually, no, she's not even. She's on the way. She's walking to the bridge and is like, Dave Evan Scott. What the fuck is happening?
Speaking.
That's not protocol.
Radiation.
That's not
right. No, I like roll my eyes a little bit. I'm like, I'd imagine we've probably had this conversation before.
No, to be fair, I genuinely forgot what your rank was. I'm so sorry.
Lieutenant.
I'm a lieutenant.
Sorry.
I feel like
everyone's
also
lieutenant except us.
the content.
Tell me what's going on.
And I'm tapping the thing. I'm like, well, we're headed into a situation and there's radiation. was there a part of my message that was confusing?
Acknowledged.
I'm legitimately asking. I'm not trying to be a shit. I'm just like, what? Is it radiation? You know, it's radiation.
Okay, right. I'm stopping.
Did I
I'm stopping
misspell
you
it?
there. I'm stopping you there. Acknowledged. Thank you, Lieutenant Scott. Over and out. Lieutenant Commander
So-
Sitchler. What is going on, please?
We have received a distress message from a civilian ship. The captain believes there may be an issue with triolic radiation involved.
Okay.
And
I
I
think
will
can't press the bridge at this point.
at this point I will bring up a clip from the distress signal and like matching sound waves visualization on the
Mhm.
view screen, kind of demonstrate
CSI
what
version enhanced.
what I was able to hear, and the sample for triolic radiation, and like explain that in listening back to the distress message, I heard this and it reminded me of something I'd heard before. And then I will turn to Situla and say, this is not typically naturally occurring, if I'm remembering correctly. Could you pull up information on the archaeological dig on Lithia 5 and see if any of their plans included processes that have triolic radiation as a byproduct?
Right away, Captain. And I turn. I don't know how much information Starfleet would have on that, but I'm gonna try and look it up anyway.
Yeah, it's a Federation colony, so there should be at least some information. Okay. Before we get to that, though, Rue, was there something you were going to say? I feel like there was something you were going to say or do.
Not really. It was just a matter of, do I know whether or not I know that radiation? Probably not, because it's not on any of my focuses. So before I get to the bridge, I'm probably going to double back and meet my team and be like, I would like an immediate team meeting, please. Ellie and all chief medical officers, please come and see me
Oh, okay.
in my office
All right.
now.
So yeah, so you do that. Let's do that first. So,
Okay.
because some of the information you'll some of the information you might get might be stuff that Situla might get as well. So, so I'm gonna ask you to roll a
2d20s?
Yes, 2d20. Just trying to figure out the roll, the actual type of roll. Of reason and reason medicine, and
Oh, easy.
you will be assisted with the ship, and you'll have your basically your personnel with you as well, assisting as well. I'll roll for them as like a group roll.
Okay.
I could just find something. I'm going to disappear real quick and pull out a book.
Oh, nice.
I'll roll for the ship.
Okay. The ship is going to be, so this is going to be difficulty, I'm going to say this is difficulty 2. And it's going to be, the ship is going to roll computers medicine. So get under 12.
Okay. Well, my reason and medicine is a 15, and I've rolled a 3 and a 14.
Okay, so those are both successes. So that's 2, and then how did the ship do?
Ship rolled a 5, so that's another success.
All right, so gain 1 momentum,
Nice.
and as soon as I pull up a character sheet, I'm going to help. It's not in that book. Pull out the other book.
Why did I write things? God damn it. Sorry. No, I've got some spare space at the back of my notebook that I'm going to use as my momentum counter,
Okay.
essentially.
Sure, let's go with this one. All right. That's a 6. Also assisting with reason medicine. Yep, okay, so that's gain another momentum.
Oh, 2 momentum.
Yep.
Nice.
Where did I put my pencil? Why do I put things down and then they just disappear? Whatever.
That's the ADHD, baby.
I found another pencil.
I was gonna say GM's curse, but also that.
But also ADHD. Alright. ADHD. Alright. So here's what you so what are you looking for specifically? Like you're just asking and like figuring out what trialic radiation does and is.
Yep.
Alright.
What is the expected effects? Can we counter it? Do we have the we're assuming we have the gear to counter it.
Oh yeah.
What would it look like? Would we need to quarantine people if we come into contact with them? Do we need full biohazard suits? What have you?
It's nothing like that. It's prolonged exposure. It's only dangerous in prolonged exposure. So if you stay in one place for too long with it around, that's when it'll start to break down the cell walls. You do know that there is a few species that can survive it. Most notably, they have a certain cellular structure that also makes them good at shape shifting.
Ah, okay. Someone who's seen too much Deep Space Nine.
So
Changelings then.
well, you don't know. There could be other ones.
I don't know.
So yeah, so creatures that are known for shapeshifting are able to resist the effects of trialic energy, and so therefore would probably be the most likely species to use it, if any species use it at all. Its effects generally it's a lot like most other radiation poisonings, where it is nausea first, and then eventually just more. I'm trying to remember what actual radiation poisoning is like, but whatever actual radiation poisoning is like, that's how it is. It does. You can. It's been recorded that you can be around it and present with it for a period of time. Like you have to be exposed to it for a long time. It's like it's like, because it's an energy byproduct from an energy source, it's really dangerous when it's being used and used long term. But if it's not being used long term, it's not that dangerous.
Okay. So it's not okay. So it's not panic stations.
No, it's more of a that's weird, and we shouldn't hang out here for too long.
No. Okay.
Because it's definitely it's definitely not a common radiation. It's definitely rare.
Not common. Would any of us know who can make it?
I'm gonna ask for a momentum spend for that.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Yeah, right. Go for it.
Okay. So you know specifically one instance of using it, of a species that uses it, known as the Davidians.
Davidians.
So hang on, let me spell it. Devidian. Davidians. They are they had an encounter with the USS Enterprise D in about 12 years ago, wherein they used triolic energy to create temporal distortions to travel back in time.
Okay, interesting.
Time travel is back on the table.
Hey!
Slam.
Oh boy.
Situla just wants weird shit to be happening.
Weird shit is already happening. We're in space.
Yeah.
It's already weird enough.
Oh God.
Okay, so I'm gonna hover. I am going to go up to the bridge, and I am gonna hover because I want to know what's going on as chief medical officer. If we do need to get people on board and get them away, I would quite like to know about it.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna hover.
Yeah. So you just the turbo lift doors open, and out comes the chief medical officer in a medical coat and uniform.
Gonna look back and just give a quick like, and then turn around back to what I'm doing.
Hello everyone, don't mind me. I'm just gonna hover back.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So we are on our way to Lithia 5, which
Okay.
is host of a new colony with an archaeological dig, according to the Admiral. We've received a distress signal from a civilian supply ship that was on its way there with personnel and supplies.
Right.
And
Do we know how big the USS Magpie is? Like, how many staff would be on board?
That's something you can easily look up, so I'll give it to you. It's got a crew of about 50.
Okay. Good to know.
And it's mostly cargo.
Okay.
do we know what the crew makeup is? Like, predominantly human, predominantly
human, yeah, with a few other Federation species sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Have I discovered anything while looking up what the dig site is all about?
Right. Yes, let's make a roll. Let's do
Oh boy.
the ship will assist with computer science, and I'm going to ask you to make a reason science roll. And the difficulty is going to be, I'm going to set this at 1.
Um.
Oh, and
go for it, Ruth.
let me give you the number for the ship.
If I can keep my dice, that would be a start.
Mm-hmm. Computers,
So,
science,
one
that'll
of
be a
them-
14 for the ship.
One of them was right on 17, which
And-
is my reason science.
So that's a success.
And the other was a nat 20.
Yay!
Oh God.
And I rolled a 19.
Okay,
This
so no help
die
from the
has
ship.
failed me. It's going into dice jail.
Okay, so
But
you
reserve speed dice.
Stop giving our GM power. She's too powerful.
Well, now I rolled a 4. What was that?
All right, so
It's like the
stop, she's already dead. All right.
we're already dead stuff.
Stop. Okay, so you only needed 1, so that's good. So you succeed.
Good.
Wait, does that give
But
me
at what
momentum?
cost?
No, because you only got 1, so it's every
okay.
success over the difficulty is a momentum. So,
Julio.
okay, let me give you the good stuff first, and then I'll.
Give me the good news.
Yeah. All right. So you learn that it's an archaeological dig site colony that was established there to investigate an old ruin that was when the planet was discovered. They discovered that there was evidence of life But the thing is, it's only a single small like city pretty much, or you can barely even call it a city, but it's a single humanoid structure, um, like structure complex. Probably maybe akin to a village or a small town. And it was the only one there on the entire planet.
Wow.
I'm going to enact a complication by not giving you some information. I'm just not going to tell you something.
Can
Or
I
if you're going to tell us,
ask-
you're not going to tell us.
So we can use Q momentum to negate that complication. Just tossing
can
that
I
out
ask
there.
a question first?
Sure.
Just a question that I assume we would have access to this information. What class planet is it?
Oh, it's an M class.
Okay.
I did succeed while being assisted by the ship. Right?
Yes.
The ship didn't get a thing.
But you still was assisted, so you can get
So
a free.
I do get to obtain information.
That's true. That's true.
Nice.
And the question
Okay.
is, what information are you not telling us?
Yeah, what are you hiding?
What do you want me to just?
I was going to say what anomalies are in the area, but
Oh, that's
Sure.
a good point too.
Whatever question you want to ask, you only get one. Or unless you want to spend more.
If I ask what you're
It's
hiding,
not my question, you
will
go
you
for
tell
it.
me, or
I mean, I'll tell you that I'm hiding something.
but you won't?
What are you
Okay.
hiding? Information.
What? Kai had a good one. So, like, what
What
anomalies
anomalies are in the area?
have been recorded in the area or are in the area?
When you say the area, do you mean the immediate solar system or the planet itself?
The solar system, because I guess we didn't like narrow down that the Magpie was at specifically Lythia 5. We just know that it's in the Lythia system. So
Right. Okay.
we know that it was on its way there, so I am
headed
hoping
there.
to intercept it.
All right. So there are no discernible anomalies, and I assume you're specifically looking ones that could produce triolic waves. Maybe is that what you're possibly thinking of?
Probably.
Yes, but also no. I'm personally casting a wide net just
Okay.
in case the triolic waves are a like red herring.
Okay. There was a recorded energy burst coming from. Well, it's coming from the solar system. It's hard to pinpoint it. It was barely registered of a small temporal disturbance. And that's the only anomaly you recognize. And it was recorded. It was recorded about 5 days ago.
Well, that's convenient.
We know triolic waves can be used to cause temporal disturbances. So I guess I immediately turned to the captain and informed them of this.
Great.
Captain,
Mhm.
something that has been stuck out to me was that from what I know about what I looked up about this radiation, you said it takes quite a while. Why would it have such a terrible impact on the ship that has only left Nuringer Station 5 days ago? Could there be something else going on other
Do
than
we
this?
know when the distress signal was sent?
That's a good point.
If you want to spend a momentum, I'll allow it.
I would like to
I'll
spend
ask.
a momentum.
Okay. Situla, while you were initially receiving the message and looking like you like go back to it now to figure out when it was sent after hearing that question, the amount of degradation in the message, and technology is pretty advanced, so you still got some of it. The message was apparently 12,000 years old.
Jeez.
Ugh.
Oh boy. Oh no. What was the episode title again?
Of Ghosts Long Past.
Ghost log past.
Okay, so maybe I don't need to prep the medical bay then.
So I'm just gonna talk out loud for a second. So the recorded energy burst of a small temporal disturbance was 5 days ago.
5 days ago.
And the magpie left Narendra 4 days ago?
4 days ago. And you would know this, it's about a 4 days travel to there.
To the system?
Yeah.
Okay. So they would be arriving right about now. Do we have any additional... So the recorded temporal disturbance, we just know that it was a recorded temporal disturbance. We don't know more details.
There was a temporal phase variance, which was about 0.004.
I'll write that down.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
What does it all mean?
I'm afraid to find out.
I am presuming I don't know what that means, but I, the person playing this character, have a feeling that that's important. So,
Okay.
so
Moon is nodding. Moon was nodding.
I'm familiar with certain aspects of the Trek fandom that are leading me in a direction that I'm not going to say anything about because Daru does not know anything about it.
Damn it!
Time fuckery. That's what
Time
we're dealing with. Time
fuckery.
I'm going to ask
Go ahead.
Lieutenant Daru to look into any history of experiences with triolic radiation and temporal disturbances and how we might be able to counter or survive that, if there's preparations that we can make as a ship, if we need to do anything special with our shields or with, protective equipment, anything like that. I'm gonna task you with countering that kind of interference, or preparing us to withstand it. Because the message sounds wrong.
We would like to not go back 1,200 years ourselves, if we can help it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
12,000.
Yeah,
12,000, right.
12,000 years.
Situla is like, it would be fascinating. But
That's
I
not
feel
fair.
like
I would miss
have
my
a
mom.
radar. I feel like I have a radar somehow to whenever Situla says the word fascinating, I whip around and I'm like, absolutely not.
It's like the opposite.
Whatever
of
you're
Spock
doing, it better not
Vulcan
be. And then I'm back to
fascinating.
what I'm doing. I'm anytime, it doesn't even care if I'm in earshot. Situla says the word fascinating somewhere on the ship and I'm like, wake up.
It's
and
like whenever
cold
your
sweat
cat
in
is
the middle of the
quiet
night.
for just a little too long.
Exactly.
So I was going
I'm
to
like,
say,
oh Christ.
Daru is going to make direct eye contact with Situla and say, we do not want to end up 12,000 years in the past.
No.
Situla is
And I just point, like,
No.
Situla is making the most offended face. Like,
No.
I wouldn't chance it if we had no sure way of coming back.
Is there like
What
an
do you
insight check
take
I
me
can do?
for?
Can I do an insight check in this campaign?
There is.
Insight check the science officer.
Situla wouldn't. Situla
Can I do a
wouldn't
bullshit
because 12,000 years in the past, there's no one Z could brag to about all of the cool shit they found out about.
Granted.
Except the other people
enough.
on the ship who would probably immediately kill her. So
Probably not be in a listening mood.
No.
No.
So
Z wouldn't be able to
See,
brag on
this
their old
false
crew.
prophet thing came through the wormhole. No, I'm not going through that. The prophets haven't established themselves in my quadrant yet. 12,000 years ago. I am not going to that blinking blasphemous part of space. You got another thing coming. Like the Celestial Temple's not even open yet. It's not open yet.
It's not even
I'm
there
going
yet.
So
12,000
do I need
years.
to make a roll for this, presumably?
Yeah, why don't you roll me a security, reason security check.
I have a little bit of information if I may put it forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hi. Me and my staff were talking about this because we were concerned about the medical aspect of triolic radiation. And we found that the only proper experience that Starfleet has had was on the Enterprise D, because of course, 12 years ago with the Davidians, and that was a little temporal mix-up. So whether or not there's something on the unofficial records, yeah, so that's the only one we could really find.
Okay.
I feel like as I'm listening to this conversation, sitting there charting the course, as soon as I just hear the word enterprise, I just cross myself and then keep doing what I'm doing. It's a bad omen.
It is!
It very is. Very
So
much
what was
is.
the difficulty for my roll?
Also at 1.
Since they're preparing the ship, is the ship helping?
Sure, I'll allow the ship to help. Security. Let me look at let's do security computers. So it has to roll 11.
Okay, we're good. It's a
Okay.
single digit.
Okay, so it's a
It's
success.
7.
So that's 2 successes
Okay, so gain.
and a 20.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Well,
I
are
knew
we
it was
up
an
to
omen.
Tonight,
This is
lads? Come on.
Almost
I need to
Uh,
send
the session
everybody
that I went where they
dice.
rolled 5 complications in one session.
Maybe next time I roll for the ship.
I
The
know
ship
the
was
ship
fine.
is
It succeeded.
out.
Ship did fine.
Daru, who got the 20.
Oh god.
Yeah, the ship
Never
has
mind, I
only
can't
rolled
help
a
that.
19 so far. The ship has been
She's
okay.
been great. Hey, she's a wonderful lady.
To
She's beautiful.
be
You leave
fair,
the Gwen Huvar alone.
I did rather min-max this character for physical melee combat.
All right. So, okay. So you did get 2 successes. So you do bank 1 momentum. Yeah. So you do recall. So you search the database for everything about triolic waves and temporal disturbances and all that, and you get the same information that I gave to Mabrin about the effects of triolic waves and our past interactions with them and
Can I coordinate with engineering to see what we can do about our shields, how we can sort of protect ourselves from temporal wibbly wobbliness?
Okay. If you want to spend 2 momentum to create an advantage, I will let you create a trait for the ship that'll be like resistant to triolic waves or to resistant to temporal.
I am more inclined to say resistance to temporal shenanigans.
Okay.
But I will also take input from the rest of the crew.
No time
As
travel
the
for
person
the Gwen.
flying the ship, I would love not to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm good at flying now. God knows what bits of the ship would not make that jump. So
I'm down to spend
that's my vote.
2 momentum for resistance to
Yeah,
temporal fuckery.
Okay. We'll gamify
that's the
it.
technical term.
Yeah, we'll like lure it by the you basically hail down to engineering and you get the chief engineer, Jay Abrosi. She says you explain the situation to her and she goes, okay, yeah. If we realign the shield emitters to match the temporal phase variance, then we could probably possibly at least protect ourselves temporarily. Temporally, not temporarily. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Temporally. Cool. Yeah, so I'll set my teams on that right away. And she does that. So yeah, so now you have an advantage. You're protected from temporal bullshit.
Yay.
Beautiful.
All right.
I thought the official term was fuckery.
Fuckery, whatever.
Temporal fuckery, I think the captain said
Specifically.
Well, it's an advantage, so it's resistance, not immunity.
Yes.
So bullshit is the lower level and fuckery is
One grade
Oh, it's a grade above. Okay, I get it.
And
technical term.
Fuck is the highest level.
Love that. All right. So, is the ship? Has the ship gone to warp yet? I have not known if the ship has gone. To warp.
Let's put the ship in warp.
Okay.
I-
So,
I thought this was all like us unparalleled parking and
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
So you're undocking. So yeah, you get a message from.
It's gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You get an all clear from the station, and what warp speed are you going at?
Oh, this kind of seems important, so my vote is a lot as the driver of this boat.
The max
None of
she
those
can go
words
is
were the
9.
right words.
I don't think I would go
As the driver of this boat, I say, yeah. I don't think max is it, but I think we should go like. So we're not sprinting, but I don't think we should walk either. My advice is like a brisk jog.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we start out pretty easy, and then as we solidify our plan and our intelligence, we can speed up a little.
Okay.
So
like cruising speed is about warp 6. So like in between there, maybe like warp 7.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe start at 7.5, and then if we need to ease up any.
Cool.
Or not ease up, the opposite of that, but
full throttle. That's the word. Okay. So
I was gonna kind of lean in at this point and mention, like, while triolic waves are not naturally occurring, and the last and only recorded encounter Starfleet has had with them was a targeted, purposeful use by ne'er-do-wells. We have the Davidians, yeah, ne'er-do-wells, as I said. The information we have so far hasn't. Something just fucking occurred to me.
Please tell me you said that in character.
Yes. Yeah, something just. So, as I'm speaking,
yes,
something.
Lieutenant.
And I turn back and I am immediately looking up how old the settlement on Lythia 5 is.
Okay, you can. I'll allow a momentum spend to get that information.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
12,000 years.
You are correct. It is approximately 12,000 years old.
Oh, great, we're in a paradox.
Um. We appear to be. Yes. So, sad as it may be, I doubt we have any hope of rescuing the magpie from their unfortunate predicament without irrevocably splintering the timeline. But at the very least, we should find the culprits. If there are any, we have no way of knowing if this was a purposeful attack or an accident of some sort, and ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Well, Lieutenant, it would please me to no end if you could prepare your staff for the multiple potential outcomes, including recording evidence of the temporal phase variations and its effects on the settlement, should we come across it, the magpie, should we come across it, and the system, the Lithea system itself, as well as any other words. Words are good. It would be great if I could words.
Mm.
As well as any other observable effects they'd like to gather data on.
Right away. And I turn to contact everyone who's in the science division who's relevant to this sort of thing, but I also contact a couple of other people and I tell them in no uncertain terms that they are to stay out of whatever's going on.
As you're saying this, Mabrin sort of leans in and is like, as your CMO, I fully approve of this message. And I sort of step.
You're just like, oh, thank God.
Okay,
I feel
so
like there's a subtle,
as I'm looking around,
okay, you
I
go.
was just gonna say, I feel like in that moment there's a subtle look between Daru and Mabrin of Daru just sort of nods, is like, yes, I also approve of this message. Let's keep the crew alive, please.
Mhm.
Yes.
Sichela
I'm
has
gonna-
some very direct words to a couple of them that some of the ensigns just kind of pretend they're not hearing. Ooh. But
What were you gonna say, Lexi?
I'm just
sorry.
gonna look around the bridge, and no, you're good. Is anybody just how does everybody seem to be taking this? Is there anybody on the bridge who looks freaked out, or does everybody seem chill, or does anybody look like they're about to lose it a little?
So the way the bridge is set up, there's two two piloting consoles, and the one across from you, the ensign sitting there in a red command uniform as well, is thrumming her fingers against the Elcars very nervously. And you could tell she's trying to keep it together because it's a big responsibility to be on the bridge, but she's still actually nervous because oh no, we're doing stuff now.
And also, people keep saying scary phrases like time fuckery.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna sort of look up and get this kid's attention and just be like,
Yeah.
make sure she sees me.
Yes, sir.
And my kid brother's favorite movie is Groundhog Day. I've seen it about 400 times. We're gonna be fine.
Maybe not an example of a time traveling movie.
Thank you, sir. And she just like now she just looks
Just like I
more.
have nothing better reassuring to say to this person.
She
I'm
just
just
looks
like,
more
everything's
confused
gonna
now
be
than
alright.
than concerned. She looks more confused than concerned, but
See, it worked.
it works. It helps. So yeah, so the ship successfully undocks and pulls out, and the nacelles of the ship glow bright and zips into warp. And I think that is going to be where we're going to end it for tonight. I think this is a good 2-hour session. I think that's good for us. I think that's how I want to keep it sessions at. It's about 2 hours.
It's a nice manageable length.
Yeah. So, next episode, we'll arrive at the Lethea system and get to investigate all the things that happened there. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying this fun Star Trek jaunt through the stars. I think next week, next Tuesday at 7 p.m., we're going to have another episode. Yay. Which I'm very excited for. I am just tickled pink about how y'all reacted to all the things that are happening, and we haven't even gotten to the actual colony yet. So
My favorite part was everyone ganging up on Situla.
yeah. I just
Thank you, Avery.
Thank you.
For this. A little
God
bit.
bless her.
I've
Thank you.
I've just been picking out bits. I think my favourite thing was, as the driver of this boat, I'd like to be at warp a lot. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you for that.
Oh,
Thank you.
Captain,
As the
not our
driver of
captain.
this boat. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Avery.
Thank you. Bye.